What's up? Good morning, you guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanted to talk really quickly. I see a lot of people talking about this topic, and I thought I would just, give my opinion because actually a um, couple of my YouTube people have asked me like a lot of times about giving money to churches. And if you don't know, you guys, my dad, I literally grew up in church. Dad's pastor, uncles, everybody church folk. Okay. So I did grow up with the norm where, they tell you to give 10% of your money. And as a kid, I really didn't understand it. It was just what you did. It was just kind of like, you just do it. And I don't know. I didn't understand. I heard the cliche things to say, but I just didn't understand it. But then as I got older, and I just began to do some search for myself, I fully understood what giving in general does for your faith and your growth, right? What the heck? Lit. Anyway, I just really started to understand it from that perspective. And so giving to churches or to your church or to a ministry that blesses you has nothing to do with the church, although it does. But it has everything to do with if you give. Hi, Lori. Good morning. Mwah. Hi, Tahara. Tahira. So when you give, think about it. There's several scriptures and stories. Any ministry that is blessing you, first of all, I believe you should bless the ministry so that they can continue to grow because they're putting out content and they're growing you and your mindset. Does that make sense? So when you are blessed, you be a blessing, right? Church is a business. People can't stand when I say that. And I think that's because you churchy. But I'm sorry, who's going to pay the light bill? The coins do. So a church needs money. A church is started, the concept, you give money in exchange for the information so that you can grow. So you need a place to sit. You want to be able to support this place be all that it can be. You're trusting the leadership. You're trusting that they're doing their study and their homework and they're going to better the community. You are literally like, you give. Now, I jumped like 3 subjects. You give. If I have $100 and you have $1 million, we both, the rule of thumb is 10% is tithes, and then everything else over that is your offering, right? It's what you felt led to give. Here's the thing about giving. If I only have $100 and I give 10, not because it's the rule, but because I am believing, first of all, I'm grateful to God for the knowledge, because hopefully you applying, you're somewhere where it's growing you. And when you grow, your life grows. And so you get to be a blessing to other people. Like I'm looking at, look at the storm damage in the Bahamas and look at the people who are able to give. And there's people who didn't have to give, but they're so convicted of what happened. And so they're giving. God's going to bless them because their giving comes from the right place. Does that make sense, you guys? So like when you pay your tithes and your offering, your heart needs to be grateful. You also are showing it's grateful because I have, so I'm going to give. It's grateful because I'm getting blessed here, so I'm going to give. It's also, I'm trusting that there is going to be a return greater than I can ever imagine. And so there's a story in the Bible. Somebody real churchy, help me out. The story in the Bible about the woman who gave, and there's plenty of stories where people have given from the little bit that they've had, but it was greater than the person who had $1 million. The person who gave from their $100 was a greater give because they didn't have it to give. And it doesn't mean because you have money, you don't give. It's just the concept. Are y'all understanding? Like it's this whole circle. You give because you're trusting that you are provided for. You give because you're grateful that you've been provided for. You give because you're grateful because of hopefully you're somewhere, even if you're just watching online. There have been plenty of times I have watched TD Jakes online and just I'm like, oh my God, like I'm sowing here this week. I sow where I'm being poured, like from the places that have poured into me. I've given to bloggers who they're not necessarily at a church, but I give to them because I'm like, man, you just bless my soul. I'm just grateful for their work, and they need to be able to continue their work. So the thought process should never be a perspective of, I see people get salty about churches getting money. That's very human minded. And I think that's small minded. First of all, because a church has to operate. Okay. There has to be facilities, bills got to be paid. You know what I'm saying? Furthering the community initiatives, that stuff costs money. If you want musicians to be at church every Sunday, yes, they should be paid, because they're literally dedicating. Yes, you can serve. I know every church can't pay the musicians, but at some point, if I'm here 40 hours a week, I'm going to need a check. Okay. Because that's not mandatory. So don't get mad. Churches are a business. In order to be a successful church, TD Jakes, I'm just using it because everybody knows TD Jakes, he still has to operate the church as a business. So that's one side of it. But then the other side, and the side that I think I should be concerned with is, yes, the sacrifice was greater. That's what I was saying. Like, is the fact that when I get something, I'm giving because I'm grateful that I have received. I'm giving because I am grateful that this person was followed the calling on their heart to do and build this thing that I get to come to, and maybe I'm not going to a church, but I'm giving because this whatever poured into me. Does that make sense, you guys? And I'm trusting that when I give, it is coming back to me tenfold. So you're building faith. You're building something within yourself that acknowledges that I can't do it by myself. I am trusting you, God, to return. I am trusting that I even have because of the grace of God, right? It's a relationship thing. So giving, although the church, I see people arguing about the church, it's not just about the church. So it's like, just be a giver is my main point. Hopefully I'm not confusing you because I talk in circles. But I want you to know that giving is so much deeper than why you're giving it. Why is the pastor driving this fancy car and blah, blah, blah. Like, it is about the trust and the sacrifice, right? And it is not for you to judge my sacrifice or my giving. It is personal. Mind your business and give because of what it means, right? It's the relationship with God. That's it. The church deserves to receive money. Anybody blessing others, money is just one of the things that you rightfully gain, right? And so it's about your heart and the sacrifice and the gratitude and the trust and the faith that even though this is maybe a sacrifice for me, again, people have different levels of sacrifice, even though, it's about the discipline. That's discipline. Giving is discipline. Right there. Like, if I had some kids, I would teach them from the jump to give, because I am actually training my children to understand that when you get that discipline in giving that 10%, man, that goes so much, that goes far beyond. That's a mindset. That's about management. It's everything. Everything. So it's y'all get what I'm saying? Like, it's deeper than looking only a money mindset, like a negative money mindset. You're looking at what the pastor drives or wears and blah, blah, blah. Now, are there churches where the church ain't growing, people steady giving, everybody poor except the pastor? I think that is odd. I think you should pay attention. I think people should go where you're growing. Your church should be growing. The church that I've been going to recently here in Dallas is amazing. Hillsong, every week it's packed and more packed because people keep, I'm telling you, it's like amazing. The word is so good. I can't wait to give. I want to serve. I was like, I need to make sure I'm being in the city because I want to jump on some committees. Like they're going into the community. It's insane. And it's only been open for 12 weeks. No, 13, maybe 14 now because it's been like 2 weeks. So my point is giving, and I should go deeper into this and give you like some real Bible points. It's a discipline. Because of your sacrifice and willingness, your gratitude, your trust, you are blessed. And I'm sure somebody could say this better than me, but that's what I have found. And I found that even like, I mean, it don't make it, a lot of times your giving doesn't make sense because you may say, well, I can't give if I don't, have. How am I going to pay my tithes if I don't have? See, that is saying that you don't trust that God is going to provide for you. Now, God is not this statement that God will provide. Sometimes people use that and it sounds like pie in the sky. The faith of you giving, you will have someone bless you that a blessing will come that you didn't even have nothing. You don't even know how. You don't even know. Like, that's the way God works. God wants to prove to you that he can make situations happen that have nothing. You couldn't even thought that up. And so it's about your relationship and your faith walk. So you can't come at giving with the perspective of, I don't have. You want to be a giver of money. You want to be a giver of love. You want to be a giver of peace. You want to be a giver of joy. You want to be a giver. You want your existence to have those fruits of the Spirit, you guys, because when tough times happen, and they will, that's what's going to sustain you when you don't know how. If you haven't been working on your faith and trusting, you will be perished because you never spent the time putting in the work on being a person full of the fruits of the Spirit. Okay. So yes, money is something that we can measure. And so you can buy stuff with it. So you start to be like hoardy kind of when giving is so much bigger, you guys. Does this make sense? Hopefully I make sense. Let me look at the comments. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Where y'all listening from? Danielle, what's up, boo? I love how comfortable you are. Child, just comfortable. Because it was cold. I like my house to be cold. So then I was like, okay, I got to get laid back down. When I started mosquitoes. So I got to come back inside because I started getting bit. And then I was like, ooh, I just want to be cozy. Good morning, everybody. Your giving cannot be from an I can't say that word. Obligatory. Is that a real word? Or you just make that word? Obligatory. Obligatory. I get what you're saying. You can't feel obligated to give. No, you should never give anything from a like, I should. No, the energy is I'm grateful, I'm trusting, I'm expecting a return like of any type of sort. Because I just know that's the kind of God I serve. I serve an abundant God. So it doesn't matter if I'm only giving 10 cents today. I expect high expectations. Okay. I have high expectations on the return because God knows that I'm giving from a place of gratitude. Thank you, God. And don't judge your giving based on someone else. Somebody next to you put a big whop and all you had was a little bit. God is going to honor you both. You both gave. Just make sure your spirit is right. The end. Talk good on this morning. The church serves the community. Our little church here serves the community of all of our community, whether you attend or not. Exactly. The men of the church deliver meals to the elderly, repair homes. The ladies' aid does a chicken. Exactly. Thanksgiving, keep the lights on. The ladies' aid does a chicken pie supper to raise money for the pastor and to keep the lights on. Serves a free Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas parties for children, celebrates with the high school graduates. If someone passes, the entire community goes into action so that family, regardless of where they worship, to cook. I love it. None of this would be possible without giving to the church. I don't attend there, but I'm always invited to the mother-daughter banquet. I peel potatoes for chicken pie supper. It builds the community. Exactly. Like that's the thing that people you need church. Like where else are people going to gather and get hope and get faith and get love? Some people don't have like some people's lives in their homes could be so. Think about domestic violence. I've been a domestic violence. I'm a survivor, okay? Thriver. I'm a domestic violence. That don't make sense. Domestic violence. Sorry. Anyway, I won. Okay. So my point is, I know what it feels like to come and you have to go through that. And that's kind of like a thing that you hide. And so church could be that one place where people are hugging you and loving you and telling that you can do this and that, like no weapon formed against you is going to prosper, and that, you know, you can get out of anything and you can transform your life. Sometimes that's the only place people have that conversation. People that have been molested, abused, abandoned. Church is a place for broken people. So a lot of people think I hate church because I always talk about Black church ghettoisms, but I think we need to talk about it because it's ignorant stuff that is happening. But also, I think church is a beautiful place. Like, and don't be mad because maybe the stuff I'm saying is the church you go to. Like, you should just be like, oh my God, that's the church I go to. Jeez. Rhyme. I think church is great. God honors the principle of tithing. Yeah, it's a principle. And if you look at it, like if I look at it even from a business perspective, like as a business owner, if like certain disciplines, it's a discipline. And that's a characteristic. And you need discipline in business when it comes to your money. So it's totally like so good. Being a pastor is a 24/7 on the call job. Exactly. The pastor can be balling because guess what? Pastors get a salary, and a lot of pastors also, they take that money and they invest in real estate, and they start networking. It becomes like a whole thing. I don't know if y'all can see me because it's dark in here. Once you make the list, it's big. Yeah, visiting the elderly. They phone always off the hook. My dad, I remember people showing up at the house just crying, passing out. And I'm just like walking down the hall, like, what is going on? Let me go to my room. I mean, pastors are always pastors. Even at the grocery store, people want to tell you how to drama. Like, you're just a lifetime coach. Without youth group at church, I don't know what I would have done as a kid. My children also were blessed to attend youth group. How do these kids do this? Giving. Exactly. Because the giving supports the facilities. And see, the thing is about small churches, I think that, maybe like there needs to be like education on how to run a church and how to operate, because these churches, a lot of churches have poor mentalities from a money perspective. No shade on the gospel. The gospel is the gospel. The book is the book. But folks start churches with broke mindsets. It's the struggle bus. How many of y'all went to a church and they had the building fund since you was a kid and they still ain't got no new church building? I'm just saying. That's actually a thing. Where is Hillsong? The word is always on time. Love you. Thank you. Love you, Paulette Hollywood. Hillsong it's inside of Gillies, which is right outside of downtown. So Paulette, just where I remember I had my class, right there. That's where it's at. Don't even talk to me about the cold. You live in Vermont. I know. I'm over here in my Snuggie. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, but I just wanted to tell you guys that you should definitely be giving, because it's giving. Giving says, God, I trust you. Giving says, God, I trust you. God, I am going to be disciplined in this area. And I know that you're going to open up doors for me to be even more disciplined. I trust you. I want to be an example. I have made so many mistakes. Oh my gosh, so many mistakes. And I realized, like, because when you're not focused on trusting God and you just want to lean on your genius, like, I don't want to lean on my genius. I want to lean on God's genius, because it's beyond what I could ever possibly think I'm smart to do or know. And so giving is about trusting. God, I trust you. I'm grateful for what I do have, and I'm excited about the expansion. And so, God, I'm going to give this. I'm excited about the blessing that comes from this person, this word that's coming. So, God, I trust you. I love you. I'm grateful. Here you go. Here's some money that's going to serve the community, that's going to keep expanding your kingdom, that's going to keep growing the message. So I'm just saying, like, I think giving is a beautiful thing. So we shouldn't be salty about giving tithes or churches getting money. You know what I'm saying? Don't be salty about that. Good morning, Ladonis. Jamaica man. What's up, Easy Slick? The sacrifice is greater. Yeah, I need to figure out like the real Bible stories, but I just thought I'd give y'all my 2 cents on that, because I think it's important that we give in so many different ways, and church being one. But even if you decided to pay tithes to the Bahamas, to the Bahama Relief, right? Even if you decided to pay your tithes, you know what I'm saying? And bless where you feel led to, and God will speak to you. It's just going to be a small whisper. Wisdom is a small whisper. So God, show me where to give, and then shut up and just listen. You're going to see something, you're going to know something, and boom, you're going to feel led to give. This is how, when I was a kid, I used to be so confused. What's God? What's the devil? What's all these different things, right? And at the end of the day, when God tells you, when you hear something in your heart that brings peace, that brings like, and it's just like that's where you should go. That's where you should move. God is, anytime you have a thought and it's confusion, if it's messy, if it has ill intention behind it, if it has any type of residue that doesn't have the fruits of spirit of God, then that ain't God. Keep it simple. Is this thought, now some of y'all overgivers, and it's coming from I'm giving because I'm needy and I just need a pat on the back or something like that. Be careful of that little thing that happens too with people. Because I know some people, they be like, see, I just want to help everybody. And you just give into a pure ignorance. You're destroying yourself and your whole thing because you ain't paying attention. So, that's why you need the Bible, you need the spirit, you need to be like tuned in. That's why you have to tune in. Baby, it's a frequency, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. Yes, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Okay, so I think I'm done with this speech. Church is great, but these pastors are becoming millionaires and living as celebrities. Didn't the apostles gather money together so no one in the church lacked anything? Yeah, I don't think that it's bad I think what needs to happen, because here's the thing, I can't judge what I don't know about. So if a pastor has a salary and then he starts all these other businesses and investments, like, why can't he? Like, if you look at, like, I don't think that that's wrong. I think what's interesting is that if I had a church, there would be meetings for everything. Like, I'm going to teach you how I got this real estate. I'm going to teach you how, you know what I'm saying, I got through whatever, how I succeeded in whatever. I don't think, I think it should be like a place that's not so churchy and start to be real life, because real life is people can't pay their bills. Real life is people getting their cars repoed because they don't understand the lack mentality that's keeping them stuck in a cycle. And then they don't understand how to manage money, basic 101. So, and pastors a lot of times do. There are crooked pastors, there are crooked teachers, there are crooked governments, there are crooked everybody. There's crooked me's, like, people speaking about random stuff on the internet. There's always going to be somebody crooked. So I think I try to not focus on it because you can become obsessed. Like, I'm a conspiracist. Please don't get me started. Like, I'll be looking at, y'all will be surprised at what I actually think is happening in the world. That's why I don't voice it, because it would create confusion. And you shouldn't create confusion. So with that being said, I look at, well, what would I like? I think it would be nice to just see people giving access to information. And I think that it would be really cool to have just like budgeting classes. But the funny thing is, like, there's a million budgeting classes that people don't sign up for, but people stay, at church fresher than a, what. So I just think that it's knowledge. Like, we need knowledge, and we need, people need to figure out what's important for them, what they need next. And I think that, at the end of the day, you'd be surprised. I mean, churches bring in a lot of money, and I think that pastors have a right to be paid, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they're getting paid. And if you got millions of people, it makes sense for you to get millions of dollars as a church. And why not drive a nice car? Because I think people should also give us an example of what is, like, I don't want to, my pastor don't need to be in no Pinto. Like, I don't want to drive a Pinto. Why you in one? I want to be around some success. So I'm going to need you to be successful and teach me how. That's all I'm saying. That's why Jesus got violent and beat the money changers out of the church. No one that attends church should lack money. Agreed. I think, again, so pastors should teach. With God, there's abundance, and there's responsibility of church leader to lead in such capacities. Agreed. I do agree. And I just don't spend my energy looking at who's rich and why, and if that's the wrong way or whatever, because I think that I want my I want leaders to be successful so I can see what success look like. Because how would I ever dream to want something different if I don't, like, I aspire to be, all these things. Like, I love TD Jakes. I love his success. and the message, right? I like, and I love his mindset. He does it. I love he does business conversations. I think he could do more, like, or just put some. I don't know what he's doing. So here's the thing: I don't know what he's doing anyway. But I think it would be cool to just see more of those conversations, like all the time. So yeah, that's my take on that. But anyway, moral of the story: the purpose of this live stream, not to be diluted from that conversation, is to just give from your heart, whatever you have to give. You know what I'm saying? Pray and allow you'll hear in your heart what you should be up to. And don't get scared about it and don't get conspiracist about it. Just focus on giving, because giving says, God, I trust you. God, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I trust you. I believe that there is more. So I'm going to give from what I have and trust that I am going to receive a higher expectation. I'm not giving to receive, right? Because that's weird. You're just giving because it's trusting that you're already provided for. Cool. Done. I quit. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hello from Boston. What's up? What's up? What's up? Toy says you are speaking the truth. Thanks. I mean, just my opinion. I hope you guys, I hope that makes sense. I should get up now. Peace out, guys.